Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to understand about one more Kubernetes concept named services. So we have multiple Kubernetes services available here like cluster IP, node port, load balancer, ingress, and then external name. So let's see one after the other what are they on a very high level. So cluster IP is used for communication between applications inside the cluster. Example, like you have front end and then back end application, and then they need to communicate each other, so we can use cluster IP. So the cluster IP's network range is inside the cluster, Kubernetes cluster. So let's see node port. So node port is used for accessing applications outside of Kubernetes cluster using worker node ports. So your Kubernetes, you have deployed an application in Kubernetes cluster and then you want to access it from your browser. So you can expose that as a node port service, so that using worker nodes respective port, you will be able to access outside of the Kubernetes cluster. And the next is the load balancer service. So primarily for cloud providers to integrate with their load balancer services. So example, if you take AWS, in AWS you will have something called Elastic Load Balancer. So how you are going to use Kubernetes manifest to automatically provision a load balancer in AWS? So you can do all those things using load balancer service. And the next is Ingress. So Ingress is an advanced load balancer which provides context path based routing, SSL enablement, and SSL redirect, and many more. Example, you can compare it with AWS application load balancer type of concepts. So it has all the HTTP based features available inside that, which you can leverage. So in the same way, the next is the external name. So to access externally hosted apps or databases or something inside your Kubernetes cluster, so you can use external name service. Example, for your application which you have hosted in your Kubernetes cluster, you have a AWS RDS database, a cloud provider database, and if you want to access it, so using that respective database's DNS name, using external name service, you will be able to access that in your Kubernetes cluster. So these are the core things available here. As part of the fundamentals, we already looked into node port service. Now we are going to look into cluster IP service. In addition to that, combining node port and cluster IP, we are going to implement a front end and then back end one example, so that we get a complete picture about node port and then cluster IP. And load balancer and then ingress and then external name will focus on when we are doing the respective cloud provider courses. So let's move on and then understand whatever we have discussed in a pictographical manner. So let's consider in a Kubernetes cluster, you have deployed your backend application. Example, like some REST services application or whatever is your backend application. And this backend application is currently using a RDS database which is in AWS. So if you want to access that from inside your Kubernetes cluster, so you need to define a DB external name service here. In the same way, you have your front-end application, right? And then this front-end application need to access your back-end application. So for that purpose, you need to define your cluster IP service in your Kubernetes cluster. And now your users want to access your application here, okay, in the which is hosted in Kubernetes cluster. So for that purpose, you will deploy your front-end service, okay. So it might be a node port service or load balancer service or ingress service. So based on the environment you are using and whatever is applicable for you, accordingly you can deploy that ingress service or load balancer service or node port service. So all in all, this is the way we the services can be leveraged for us inside Kubernetes cluster in combination with external applications or internal applications. So in our next lecture, we'll go ahead and then implement our front end and then back end application with node port and then cluster IP. So I'll see you in the next lecture. Until then, bye bye. Thank you. Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to do the Kubernetes services demo. So let's see what we are going to implement as part of that. So in a Kubernetes cluster, we are going to do a backend deployment. So we have a simple Spring Boot REST services Hello World service. So we are going to deploy it. As soon as we create the deployment, automatically its equivalent replica set and then pod gets created. So once that is done, we are going to create the backend app related cluster IP services using kubectl expose. So once we do that, so we'll go ahead and then create the front end deployment. So in front end, we are going to create a Nginx pod, and in that Nginx pod, we'll have a proxy to this respective cluster IP service of backend, which is nothing but my backend service. Now, for the users to access our application, we'll also deploy the front end app node port service so that users will be able to access it. So let's go to our GitHub repo and we'll go to our 05 services with kubectl, right? So introductory section we already discussed in our previous lecture. So let's go on to our step 2, which is cluster IP service backend application setup. So let's deploy a simple backend application and then front it with a cluster IP. So the application we are going to use is a simple Spring Boot REST application, just a hello world REST application. So what we need to do if we want to deploy a application, we just need to create a deployment and then front it with a service. So kubectl create deployment, my backend REST app, and the image of that, right? So let me copy this, go to my terminal and then paste it. So it should create our respective application, right? So we can say pods to see our pod is running, yes. And if you want, you can even say logs-f, okay, kubectl logs-f, and then check the logs of our Spring Boot application. It should be up and running now. Started your hello world application in 3 seconds on port 8080, okay. So if you see here also, we have exposed, means like we are going to expose as a service with the port 8080, right? And the target port is also 8080. So we really don't need to mention target port 8080, but for our convenience, means like following a standard, so I just put it. In addition to that, you really don't need to provide when you are creating a service using kubectl imperative command expose, right? So you really don't need to provide type is equal to cluster IP here. Reason is cluster IP service is by default created by, means like it's a default service, okay. So we really don't need to specify that. If it is a type is equal to node port, yes, we need to specify, but for cluster IP we really don't need to specify it. So kubectl expose deployment my backend REST app port, target port, and my service name, my backend service. The service name is my backend service, okay. So now everything is created, kubectl get svc. So my backend stuff is completed now. So now I need to create a front end Nginx reverse proxy, and then that Nginx reverse proxy should proxy to this my backend service. So for that purpose, I pre-built the container and then put it here. So if you go to our node port service, so in my Nginx conf, I have put in the proxy pass my backend service colon 8080 as the port, whatever we are seeing, right? My backend service, and then port is 8080, right? So if it is not in default namespace and then some other namespaces or something, again we need to give the full cluster DNS name, which is svc.default.svc.local, all those stuff we need to give, but as we are running in the default namespace only, okay, kubectl get ns, right? We'll list the namespaces. This is a different concept which we'll look into it later, but currently we are in the default namespace. We really don't need to provide any full cluster DNS host name here. So that's the reason, to make it very simple for you and not to confuse too much. So I just gave whatever is my cluster IP service name here. The same thing I have provided, right? And then I have pre-built the image and then put it ready. So in our Docker Hub, so we can directly use it and then run these commands and then everything should work for you. Okay. So and no, I want to create my own reverse proxy related Docker image. Okay. Yes, you can do it. So I have provided the steps and the source here, kube frontend Nginx. If you click on that, so it will take you to 00 Docker images, 03 kube frontend Nginx. Okay. So prerequisite is you should have your Docker account, and then you can create your Docker file like this. Everything is present in this v1 release, the Docker file, and which is nothing but from Nginx you are taking your source image as Nginx, and you are copying the default.conf whatever is there in the current directory to etc nginx conf.d, right? So if you see in v1 release, you will see the default.conf also here. Inside that you can see proxy pass, backend cluster IP service name, and then port. That's what you have put it here. Okay, so the same thing, and you can go here and then review these things, and then after that you can go into this v1 release folder, right? cd to v1 release, and from there you can build it, docker build -t and your docker hub id and the kube frontend nginx :1.0.0, and take the files from the current directory dot, okay, and then push that to your docker hub id, and then you can start using it if you want. Okay, so but for me, like, you can leverage this current whatever the docker image, and then you can continue, but it's up to you. Just I have given why, because it is Nginx, right? So I didn't give any steps for related to Spring Boot related application. Why? Because again it might confuse you and then create complex stuff, but here for Nginx it's a simple thing, right? So you can try out your docker skills there with those steps, and then come back and then leverage that here so that you will be more confident. So for that purpose I gave the detailed steps for kube frontend nginx building. Okay, so now a lot of things we discussed it, so let's go ahead and then create the front-end deployment, and then create the front-end, expose that as a service. Okay, kubectl create deployment, my front-end nginx app is my deployment name, and the image is kube-frontend nginx. Okay, so let's take this, and we are here. Okay, created, right? And now let's go ahead and then expose it, right? So clear kubectl get pods, both pods should be running now, and get svc, we should have two services related to backend service, and then front-end service node port, and then node port id. So if you want to access your application, so you can say get nodes and -o wide, right? And take the public IP here, and 32209 is our port. So let's go to the browser and say okay, and /hello, right? Sorry, so the IP :32209 is my port, and then /hello is the context, right? So we got the response. So let me make it bigger, and if you see it here, 32209 is our node port, and then /hello. So that is the thing. So the same thing we have done it, 32209, and the context is /hello. Good. So now what we are going to do is, so we are going to scale our backend application so that how the load balancing happens, and then you can even see different values here. Where is this? Here, right? So this container ID, right? So this is going to change continuously. So whenever you refresh the browser. So let's test that for our convenience. Okay. So kubectl scale -- replicas is equal to 10, and my backend application. Okay. So I'm scaling my backend application. So let's go here and then scale it. So now kubectl get pods, my backend should be 10 backends I should have, right? So it's coming up. So let's, okay, so all are up and running. So now let's go ahead and then test that now. Okay, so where is this? Here, right? So I'll keep saying refresh, right? Okay, so we can refresh it. Something, okay, see, you can see this is changing continuously. H60 MV now. So it's load balancing across all the backends, right? 9G VFM WNZZ. So like this you are seeing all the containers are up now and then healthy. We are not even seeing that error. Okay, so VFM WG. Okay, so you can see how it is going on. So that's about it. So we have completed our services demo successfully, And one thing here is we really didn't look into load balancer and then external concepts here. So these things we will look into as part of our series of courses, whatever we are doing for AWS, Azure, and then Google Cloud. So in those things, we will extensively look into this stuff. So I'll see you in the next lecture. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.